For a long time, I assumed I was responsible with money. I paid my bills on time, I didn't have massive credit card debt, and my checking account usually had a comfortable balance. It felt safe. But there is a significant gap between feeling optimistic about your finances and the mathematical reality of your spending. This is the perception gap. Inside that gap, financial stress quietly accumulates. You aren't making reckless, headline-grabbing purchases, but money still disappears every week, leaving your savings account stagnant. A vague sense of responsibility often acts as a blind spot. You cannot fix a leak that you refuse to observe. A year ago, I decided to stop guessing. I pulled 12 months of bank statements to look at every single transaction I made over the course of a year. I avoided rough estimates. I added up every dollar and grouped them into specific categories, from groceries to those one-off digital purchases. Confronting the mathematical reality makes it impossible to ignore how much money is actually leaving your account. This timeline illustrates how we recall our spending. Our brains prioritize these large, isolated spikes, the expensive vacation or the big dinner. Meanwhile, we tend to ignore these hundreds of tiny dots that accumulate massive volume below the surface. When I looked at my own data, those dots told a specific story. Over 12 months, I had spent over $4,000 just on food delivery apps. A $15 order feels harmless in the moment. It doesn't trigger any immediate financial guilt because it's a small, isolated decision. But that $4,000 represents a clear opportunity cost. That is the price of an international plane ticket or a significant addition to an emergency fund. Small purchases are dangerous because they bypass our internal alarm systems, making it difficult to manage money that we aren't even tracking. The audit also revealed a second category of invisible spending: set and forget subscriptions. This calendar shows how those charges multiply. I found 11 active subscriptions, including cloud storage I didn't need and a fitness app I hadn't used since January. Altogether, they cost $1,100 a year. Many business models are built on this exact forgetfulness. They rely on the fact that you'll keep paying a small monthly fee for a service you no longer use, which added up to an $1,100 loss for me. Then there was the friction tax, money lost purely to convenience fees and overdrafts. I spent $300 on out-of-network ATM fees and 2 overdraft charges caused by inattention. I paid that money for zero return. Convenience fees are a recurring cost of moving through the world without paying attention to the details. After seeing these numbers, the reflex is often to swear off spending entirely. But extreme deprivation usually leads to a rebound in spending a few weeks later. I chose a more targeted approach. I canceled the 7 subscriptions I wasn't using and kept the 4 I actually valued. For food delivery, I didn't quit cold turkey. I set a rule for 2 orders a week. This turned delivery back into an intentional choice rather than an automatic habit. To stop the convenience fees, I set up balance alerts on my phone. This automated the process of checking my account and stopped the overdrafts immediately. These changes cut my spending in those specific categories by more than half. While I had to spend more time cooking, the extra cash in my account more than made up for the loss of convenience. Beyond the immediate savings, the audit created a permanent psychological filter for my future decisions. Knowing the real cost of your habits changes how you approach small transactions in real time. Now, when I consider a $15 meal or a new trial subscription, I have a mental interceptor that reminds me of what those choices look like when they are aggregated over a full year. You should take 30 minutes to pull your own statements for the last year. Your categories will look different than mine, but you will likely find a number that surprises you. The shock of seeing the actual numbers provides the friction necessary to move past a vague feeling and finally start changing your habits.